Welcome to the Red Dice Diaries. This podcast is a rambling journey through the wonderful world of RPGs from the viewpoint of a long-time GM and player. The music at the start of this podcast was Nightmare by Alexander Nakarada and is used under Creative Commons license. And in this episode, Hannah is going to be talking a little bit about her experiences with the Modiphius Star Trek system. Take it away, Hannah.
Today I'm going to be ranting about the Modiphius Star Trek system. John got me this book for my birthday last year, and since then I've had a very love-hate relationship with this book. There's things about it, like the moment I opened it, I looked at the artwork, the design, and I went, "Acudograms! It's amazing!" Yes, I'm that much of a Trekkie that I know what an acudogram is. That's that cool sort of style that they did all the next generation computers in. But then I looked a bit more, and there's a couple of bits of artwork that I really don't like. See, most of the book has this like fantastic stylized artwork. Then there's two pictures that are clearly just taken from Photoshop. This is the one of Picard on page 31 and the one of Captain Kirk on page 38, which just makes my brain itch every time I look at it. There he is, standing in front of Vasquez Rock, where we all know he fought the Gorn, and he had to fist fight with the Gorn and then go and build his own gun because he didn't have a phaser. Yet here he is on page 38 in front of Vasquez Rock with a phaser and a communicator. If you're going to mock something up that's different. I don't get why they've done this, and it makes my brain itch. So that's the art. I have notes and everything today. Something else I love about the game, great GM section. There's loads of tips in there, there's loads of advice on how to run a good roleplay game. Loads of stuff you probably don't really need if you've been gaming for a while. But if this is the first game you've picked up, it's going to be really useful. There's loads and loads of really useful charts in there. This is if you can find it. Terrible index, terrible contents page. There is some attempt to make some of the pages a bit easier to find, but there's no border with coloured edges that you'd expect to see, just like a little isolinear chip down the margin on the outside for each chapter, like they did in the Star Trek Fat Files in 1996. That would have been amazing. So something else that I love about the Star Trek system is the idea of momentum. It really reinforces teamwork. It's a very Star Trek idea. When somebody has a success on an intellectual role of some sort, they gain a momentum point that can later be used in combat. Somebody gains successes in combat that can later be put to whatever other intellectual stuff you're going to be doing. Engineering, diplomacy, whatever. Fantastic idea. The explanation of this idea is somewhat convoluted, as are most of the explanations of the rules in the game. I eventually went through about 200 pages of the book and reduced them down to 3 flowcharts, which it's a nice system and it works well. But if this was the first book I'd ever picked up, I probably wouldn't be role-playing now. Something else I love about the game, the character gen setup, the life path character gen. It's a really clever idea. They go through different stages of your character's life. You start out by picking where you've come from, what species you are. You then go on to picking, here we are again with the awkward to find things. Yeah, so you go through your species, where you came from, what your upbringing was like, and then you go to the academy. And when I ran this game, well, I still run this game for a group, the first 2 players that played this, we went through the life path overview together. And at that point in the life path, we paused and did a mini adventure. And it worked really well because it allowed me to like build up character relationships that have been going on for years, from like they met at the academy, various stuff happened when they were like junior officers, now they're the senior officers of a ship. It works really well. Step 5 is the career so far, and you get to determine some career events that have gone on, and that's another great opportunity to put in just a little bit of roleplay between your players before they've like finished genning the characters. Then there's the finishing touches. However, again, it's really convoluted, and as you go through it step by step, it's quite awkward to find it all. But then, having to go back to my notes because I can't find the page easily, page 129, an acudogram that explains all of that life path character gen in one simple page. Why is that not right next to the step-by-step character gen at the front of the character gen? It's the most useful page in the entire book as far as I'm concerned, and it's just tucked away at the back of a chapter with no reference in the index or the contents. Overall, this system, there's a lot of stuff in this book that's fan fiction, that's really pretty to look at, that's interesting fluff. And if you want a book to flick through that's about Star Trek, that's something you've not read before, it's going to be really, really great. However, you can get all of that stuff and a lot more useful information for running a Star Trek RPG from Trekipedia, Memory Alpha and Trek Core for free. It was kind of expensive and I wouldn't have bought it for myself. It's a really nice gift and I'm glad I've got it. I'm glad I've had a chance to sort of pick it apart and take out the bits that are good to use in other games. But I'm probably not going to be using the Modiphius system again, except at conventions. I have really enjoyed running it at conventions, and it is one that's quite easy to pick up as long as you've got someone there that understands it. But to actually try and learn it from scratch from the book is very difficult, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it as a first time system. Cheers guys, live long and prosper. Kaplach!
So that's it for this episode. If you have any questions or suggestions for things you'd like to see in the podcast in future, please either email them to reddicediaries@gmail.com or drop me a voicemail at Anchor. Until I see you next time, wherever you're playing, take care and enjoy yourselves.